everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Live It Up, the show where we explore and discuss how to take your life to that next level and beyond. We cover health, wealth, relationships, and how to create a life you absolutely love. I'm your host and coach, Fletcher Ellingson. Amy is out today, but later in the show, we are going to interview a couple that I recently met over in Seattle at a conference. I was intrigued with their story and learned that they live right here in Wenatchee. So we will be visiting with film producer Amelia Egbert and physician Jacob Egbert. They've teamed up and taken on a unique film project that takes on an issue facing so many people in our country right now. I found it moving and inspiring, and I think that you're going to as well. And it's happening right here in our valley. It's so cool to meet locals who are going for the dreams and making a difference for others. So we'll be back with them after the break. As a reminder, if you have questions that you would like to have us address on or off the air, you can send them directly to me at fletcher@fletcherellingson.com or visit me at fletcherellingson.com and check out all the cool resources there for creating a fulfilling life. Okay, let's get to today's email question. It says, "Dear Fletcher, I have had it with my diet and my weight. I've lost the weight so many times, I keep it off for 2 or 3 months, and I feel great, I feel proud, but then I end up putting it back on along with a few extra. I'm frustrated and sad because I don't know if I'll ever be able to keep it off. I know there are some people who have kept it off, but I don't know if that will ever be me. Any advice? Darcy." Hey Darcy, so first off, I'm so glad you took the time to reach out. Remember, strong people ask for help. A couple of weeks ago, I read a testimonial from one of my clients on the air here, and she had said she tried every diet underneath the sun only to lose weight and gain it back. But while working with me, she had a completely new mindset, and she's getting different and long-term results. She credited me, but in reality, it's she that did all the work. It was around creating a new mindset and her creating new empowering belief systems. So let's break this down, Darcy. You exposed a core belief in your email that I want to call attention to because it's determining the results that you're getting. In fact, and I want you to hear this, you will not be able to get new results unless you change this. You stated, "I don't know if I'll ever be able to change this." So you see, the belief that's running your mind is that you don't know, which means you don't have certainty. And if we take a look at a belief, do you realize that a belief is nothing more than a feeling of certainty? That's the definition of a belief when you look it up. And the more certain we feel about something, the stronger we believe it. In your case, you don't believe that you'll ever be able to keep the weight off. So your subconscious mind hears this and it becomes an actual program and then correlates all of your actions to align with your belief. And the cool thing about this is, it's not just my opinion, science has proven this again and again. That's how the brain works. So when you try to lose weight, you're actually deviating from the program in your mind which says you have to be this certain weight. So the thing about programs is you can bend the program, so to speak, but after a couple months, the program or belief that is hardwired into your mind kicks in and says, hey, we got to put that weight back on because we have certainty that we can't keep this off. Now, I know it sounds crazy, but again, this is how the brain works. So the question is, what is there to do? Well, you come up with a belief system that you want to have. In other words, you come up with a feeling of certainty that you want to have. Now, it may sound something like, I create health and vitality and am the master of my outcome. A powerful belief state to have. And again, you may not have this now, but you create a belief system that you want to have. Next, you're going to look for evidence in your life that supports this statement. You're going to record any shred of evidence you see. You're going to write it down and look at it every day. And by the way, this is the same method that I use when I personally want to change one of my disempowering beliefs. It works because this is how the brain works. So if you put healthy foods in your body, then you say to yourself, of course I'm eating healthy because I create health and vitality and I'm the master of my outcome. If you go do a workout, if you show up at the gym, you collect that as evidence. You say, of course I'm here at the gym. I'm creating health and vitality. I'm the master of my outcome. You constantly reinforce this belief throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, and you share it with people in your life. You ask them to hold you accountable. And you repeat and repeat and repeat this because repetition is the mother of skill. We're going to interrupt the old way of thinking, and with this new thought that you're the master of your outcome, you're going to get different results. You create health. You create vitality. You read it every day. You say it. You collect the evidence. You put it on your phone. You put it on your wall until one day it becomes the new default program. And your subconscious mind begins to align your actions with this program. Now, I get it sounds simplistic, right? It sounds easy. It's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. But this is how my clients get results in any area of their lives. It works because this is how the brain works. Look, if you want more information on this, then contact me and we can make this happen together. Again, or visit my website, FletcherEllingson.com. Darcy, stay in action and persist. You can do this. I believe in you. All right, next up, we're going to visit with Amelia and Jacob about the Inspirement Plan. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Live It Up. We are here today visiting with Amelia and Jacob, who I met at a conference a month or so ago. Yeah. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, Fletcher. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, you bet. So we're going to dive right into this. You guys launched an interesting docu-series several weeks ago, and will one of you kind of give us the heads up, what is this about? Because I've seen a little bit of it, but tell the audience what it's about.
Sure. So Inspirement Plan is essentially a docu-series documenting the progress of an individual in our community as they go through a life transformation, focusing on diet, exercise, mindset, and basic overall life skills and intentions.
A life overhaul.
Basically.
Yeah, in a big way, really, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So not everyone just decides to jump into a project like this. And dedicate all sorts of time, as I imagine it's quite a big time investment. So tell us, how did this come to be? Because it's a kind of a big project to take on.
Sure.
Well, let's see. Jacob's had this idea in his back pocket for the better part of a decade. You know, he's a physiatrist for Confluence Health. And
can you tell us what you do? What does that mean?
Yeah, so I'm a physician, and my specialty is physical medicine and rehabilitation.
Okay.
So essentially, I treat patients that have had catastrophic injuries, neurologic deficits, other things such as stroke, brain injury, spinal cord injuries. And I run a team that rehabilitates the person when that catastrophic injury has taken place. We bring them higher and higher in function to where they can go home and function with their new changes to their bodies.
Okay, cool. Thanks. I hadn't heard that word before. So.
Sure. Physiatry, yeah, it sounds a lot like psychiatry, but it's much different.
Right. Okay, good. So he brought that to the table.
so he's also a former gym owner and an athlete and a wellness advocate. And gosh, Jacob had been working on this idea of bringing people into their optimal health and wellness for the better part of a decade. And when we met, he told me all about it. And I was fascinated, and I said, well, you know what, that's not just a program, that could be a television show. What if we made a documentary or a series out of that? And we really followed someone through their individual transformation and allowed their sharing with us to feel like we were experiencing it ourselves.
Cool.
And that's where Inspirement Plan was born.
So, and you obviously have a background in this, so can you share about your background? Because not everybody can just like, hey, let's go make a docu-series, right?
So, I'm from the area. I grew up in Leavenworth, Washington, and I graduated a long time ago from Central Washington with a degree in filmmaking, and spent about a decade in Los Angeles pursuing my career as a documentary filmmaker and a writer and director, producer and editor. And traditionally, historically, Fletcher, my background is in making scary movies.
Really?
Yeah, I make thrillers and I make horror. And,
really?
And then I moved back to Wenatchee, and I met this guy, and we're branching out to include health and wellness and docuseries as part of my resume as well.
Cool. I love it. I love it. So Jamie Howell is the central participant in this docuseries, right? And he obviously lives here, and a lot of people are familiar with him. And you're following him through this series. How did you happen on choosing Jamie?
That's a story for you. Yeah.
I could take this one. So last year, we sat down to have a cup of coffee together, and we were talking about a project that we ended up shooting in Leavenworth last fall called Choose. It's a feature film starring Jacob Egbert and myself, and we were bringing Jamie on to be a part of that. And in the process, I started telling him all about our next project, which is going to be this, wild transformational docu-series called Inspirement Plan. And Jamie sort of muttered to himself, like, that sounds like something I would want to do. And I came home that day and I was like, Jacob, Jamie sort of offhandedly mentioned that Inspirement Plan sounds like something that he would want to do. And wouldn't he be an incredible subject? He's so interesting and likable and charismatic, and he's really been a pillar in the community and strongly influenced my path as a filmmaker. I think he's the person who set precedent for that I would be able to come back to Wenatchee and have a career as a filmmaker.
Oh, cool.
When I met him 15 years ago or so.
Yeah.
And to be able to circle back around and work with him as a participant for this project, which is very near and dear to both of our hearts, was just a dream. And he's incredible. He's so fun to watch, Fletcher.
Yeah. Well, I've seen one of the episodes, and it was definitely engaging, and how cool that it's come full circle for you guys, right? Mm-hmm. That's really neat. Yeah. So we've got a couple minutes left before we go to break, but tell me, what's been surprising or what's happened on the show that you didn't expect to happen as a result of this project?
I think one thing that really stands out, and I want to say it's surprising, but at the same time we anticipated it and hoped it would happen. But we wanted to tell the story of each participant in the team. So Jess, who is our dietitian, Ben and Kelsey, who are the personal trainers, Delcy, myself, we wanted to really put the camera on ourselves and show our story and how we came to the table. And some of the stories have just become so heartfelt and emotional, and you really get to see the community as a whole. This isn't just Jamie. Mm-hmm. I was able to see like some personal things that I've been through, Jess, Ben, Kelsey, and you see the humanity of each individual, and I think that's just been beautiful.
Cool. You shared with me last week something that was happening at the gyms as a result of this too. Like you said, when you say like classes are packed out and people are raising their standards as well as a result of kind of like.
I think what we're seeing is this energy that comes with the progress that Jamie's making. People are watching it and then they get inspired, which is kind of the intention of this whole program, Inspirement Plan, and they want to fulfill their dreams and goals, and then they bring that energy to the gym, that brings it to the community, and everybody benefits.
Yeah, and I think, when we see something that inspires us, we want to be a part of it, right? It feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it gives you hope. You're like, maybe I can do that, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so very cool. Well, we're going to go to a quick break. We'll be back in just a minute with Amelia and Jacob. Stick around. Hey, welcome back to Live It Up. We're talking about the Inspirement Plan, a docu-series that is being filmed here in Wenatchee. And we're going to go just take a look at it. Here's a quick promo so you can see what to expect, and we'll tell you where to find it online afterwards too.
We're living in the golden era of information and technology in one of the most affluent countries in the world, and our health has never been worse.
Today is to be day one of the Inspirement Plan, but I rolled my ankle and I am not walking.
That's why we're fighting back with a team of healthcare professionals living and working in Eastern Washington to create an individualized and holistic approach to reclaiming health.
So I worked for myself as a filmmaker, got called up to the Icicle Creek Center for the Arts in Leavenworth. I just let all the exercise kind of fall off the table and subsequently gained 60 pounds. But I'm also super injury prone.
Do you have a specific goal weight?
I would love to be 180. I think alcohol is a big pitfall.
To get to a beginning point, you're looking at about a 2-year curve.
I kind of heard that you're scared of before pictures.
I dread the idea.
Once we reach the part of the assessment that you can't continue, then we just stop.
It's time to invest in our future with the Inspirement Plan.
Cool. That looks like a great docuseries. I've watched the first one, and I know you told me there are more available, so I plan on watching those as well. Which leads me to my next question: How many episodes where are there going to be of that, and how long does it take to shoot each one?
Well, Fletcher, there are going to be about 7 episodes in total,
Mm-hmm.
and it's at least 2 weeks, a 2-week period of Jamie
For one episode?
For one episode
wow.
of Jamie's process.
Okay.
So it takes about 2 weeks.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
And then tell us, how does the editing and all that happen?
Well, I'm in charge of post-production, and we have a 6-week turnaround from the episodes that you're watching and where Jamie's at in his program. So everything that comes to you is 6 weeks past due for what he's experiencing. And that means that, my process is, 6 weeks to get our first episode locked and delivered, and about 2 weeks in between each episode from release to delivery of the next one.
Got it. So over the course of this entire project, I mean, it's going to be multiple months, obviously. So the amount of change, transformation that can happen is pretty significant.
Earlier, and I just wanted to touch base on that about how changing mindset is really where sustainable differences happen in your life.
Yeah.
And we are definitely exploring that for Jamie. He has come to his own realization about the changes that he wants to make in his life. We decided early on not to tell Jamie to do anything, but to offer him all the available resources, information, and opportunity. And he's really the one now who's driving the boat. He's
Cool.
inside of a community, supporting him and empowering him to change his life, right?
Right,
And
right.
It's so special to actually watch that happen for him as his mindset changes. And that's the work that you do every day. So
Yeah.
I'm sure you're very familiar
Yeah,
with it.
it's exciting when somebody, like you said, takes charge and says, you know what, I actually want to go in this direction, and they feel empowered to do it, whereas in the
Yes.
past they have not felt that empowerment.
Yeah.
And that's when like I get chills and like, oh, sweet, he's going for it. That's really cool. Let's see. What do you want your audience to take away from this project? If you could say, this is why we're doing it. We want you to get this.
Oh, this is so big. I think, to say what it is that we want. Big picture, one-liner, inspired. We want them to be inspired to change their own lives. Why? We have a country that is declining in health for the most part. We've got increased obesity rates and diabetes and all these chronic diseases. And we need to kind of pull together and get together to promote health and promote wellness and promote mindset shifts and see ourselves as a healthier community. And I think inspiring the community through the actions of one person is our intention here. So if someone sees Jamie and says, I can do that, success.
Yeah, cool. So you want people to be inspired and be empowered.
Yeah.
To make the changes they want to make.
Absolutely.
How do you keep that real in your life?
Personally?
Yeah.
That's a good question. So I've grown up with health as a prominent part of my mindset. My parents were into health, and it became a self-identity. And I think that plays into the mindset.
Totally.
I'm identified as someone who's healthy.
Yeah.
And I tell myself I am a fit, healthy person.
Nice.
And I open that door. And once that door's open, that I'm fit and healthy, I can take actions and live into that.
Right.
And so therefore, as a fit, healthy person, I'm going to eat a certain way. I'm going to sleep as much as I can. I'm going to exercise, and I'm going to take steps to fulfill my identity, move into that. And so, choice architecture, I've set up my life in such a way that the choices are easier to make. I have a membership at a gym where I have friends, and they expect me to show up.
Accountability, right?
Yeah. I choose foods at the grocery store that when I'm at home, my only choices are relatively healthy. I don't have junk food in the house, so I don't have to make those choices day and day. I make that choice once. And in a number of other things. So it's just essentially setting the stage for my life.
Yeah.
Can I add to that?
Please.
So this series actually becomes a piece of our accountability and our commitment to the community. Finding a way to contribute at the top of my ability is how I give back to my community, how I become accountable to myself, and how I continue to contribute to other people, and that's just such a beautiful circle for me.
Yeah.
It really creates, like, I'm sure, hosting this show, you get to come here every week, and that continues to reinforce your own occurrence
Yeah.
that you are an ambassador for health and wellness in the community.
Yeah.
And that's how it is for us too.
I like how you put that. That feels good hearing that. I'm an ambassador for health and wellness.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Well, all right. So we got just a couple more minutes, but what's next? Is this going to evolve into something else? Will it be completed? Is there a part 2? What's next? Or is it something totally different?
No, there's a lot on the horizon.
Yeah?
So, nuts and bolts, this is season 1. And we are definitely going to go into a season 2 where we'll choose a new participant or participants. But in addition to the show, we also are going to be opening up community events. So we'll have speakers or meet the team. And let's say we're located at the CrossFit gym, CrossFit Wenatchee, where I'll come and give a speech about a certain topic, or we'll have Jess, the dietitian, talk, or we'll have the trainers give a talk. And then community members can come and participate and answer questions and get plugged into certain resources within the community. And essentially we want to branch out and include more and more people in the community that can help provide these steps and choices and whatever it is that the person needs to transform their life.
Yeah. So this is it's quite a big project that you have on the horizon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
and it's going to be living and breathing and changing as,
Right.
as it evolves.
We've planted a seed and it's starting to take root and it's going to just grow.
And that's so cool.
Can I add to that?
Sure.
Yeah.
So the greater goal here is to create opportunity for community members to not only change the conversation surrounding how they see themselves and their personal health, it's also to, oh gosh, I really lost my train of thought there.
That's okay.
So changing the conversation around how community members see their health and wellness, and also creating opportunity for people to have access to healthcare professionals and healthcare, period.
Nice.
Not just in conversation, but in these meetings where people can come up and talk to their doctor, they can talk to their coach, they can talk to a dietitian, who can really give them a face-to-face community.
Right.
Creating that community and then providing opportunity for audience members and community members to interact with healthcare professionals
Right.
that they might not otherwise have access to.
Yeah.
You know, we have a system right now that is a little bit prohibitive for the average individual to go and seek the help that might be necessary to make these kinds of changes. We want to take this program and turn it back out to the community and have people audition to be a part of it so that you could be the person who has access to coaches, dietitian, physician oversight, and life coaches to really be surrounded by people to change your own life.
I love it. I feel totally enrolled. So we gotta wrap things up. Thanks so much for being here.
Sure.
And now it's time to get out there, be a source of kindness, be a source of contribution. You have something to offer this world, and I believe in you.